What is up, guys? It is DadBod here. Welcome back to part 4 of my Elden Ring complete walkthrough. Thank you so much for tuning in. In the last episode, I accidentally passed up a weapon. As I said, this map is huge, packed full of stuff. I mean, it is physically impossible to get literally everything, but I want to get at least pretty much everything that I know about. Which is everything important, everything that's going to lead you to your platinum, and then some. There's going to be a lot of extra weapons and whatnot that I'm not even going to use. I'm going to show you where they're at. Speaking of which, this is one of those weapons that I'm not going to use, but I'm going to show you where it is. I just passed it up. You remember we fought that guy up there. He gave us an Ash of War. But what we didn't do is we didn't drop down here. And you see there's a little shiny right here. And this is for the lance. It's going to be a pole arm, very long range. You pull it up. It is. It takes 20 strength to wield, and it is, you know, a little bit heavier than what we're using now. It weighs 9 units as opposed to 5.5. But I wanted to show that to you guys before we got started. So where we're going to go next is we're going to go back to kind of where we found that painting in the last episode, and we're going to continue on down the south coast of this lake and get lots and lots and lots of stuff. So, see, I'm gonna get back on my horse here. Drop down over here. There's gonna be a site of grace back here that we're gonna pick up real quick. These mushrooms while I'm over here. Might as well, right? And as I said, whenever I see little crafting items, I tend to just make a quick turn and mash triangle to pick them up. So back here is where our site of grace is going to be. So get back on our horse. If you kind of hug this edge here, you're going to see this vortex kind of coming up out of the ground. I call it a horse jump vortex. What you can do is, they're called spirit springs is what they're called. So while you're on horseback, you have to be on horseback to take advantage of these things. So jump while on horseback near a spirit spring to ride its current height into the air. You won't take damage from jumping into one while on horseback, even from a great height. So they work both ways. As you can see, we just jumped down and didn't take any damage. We jumped from a great height, did not take any damage. And you can also, if you find one, you can also ride them all the way up as well. So they work both ways. If you're to jump off this cliff, not next to that spirit spring, you would for sure die. This is a death zone here for it to jump off, not next to one of these things. So I'm going to jump back down, just wanted to demonstrate how that thing worked. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dismount. There's an enemy up here that we're going to fight. This guy right in front of us. He's going to drop us another Ash of War. He is a bit difficult, not going to lie. Nothing too much for us to handle. You can't summon spirits here. Just try to keep your distance and dodge through his attacks when you can. He doesn't have a whole lot of poise, which is kind of what makes this fight more manageable. You see I'm doing a lot of jump attacks. I'm trying to get a stagger. There we go. Again, those jump attacks are great. Wonderful for getting staggers. So I can't emphasize enough how helpful those are. So we just got the Ash of War Gravitas. So here it is. Grants affinities and skills to an armament. Thrust the armament to the ground to create a gravity well. In addition to dealing damage, this attack pulls enemies in. Go ahead and get these butterflies. We're going to go down here to the beach real quick. Don't need to fight this crab. The crabs are pretty tough in this game. Just getting the lump of flesh, which is a crafting material. And then around here, there's like a secret cave. We're going to go through. Right up here is an item for us. The Halig Drake Talisman. So if this looks familiar, this is actually the area where we started. You can see this item from the very beginning of the game, but you just can't get to it until you get to this point. Let's check. Let's take a look at the Hallowed Drake Talisman. So you can equip it and it boosts your holy damage negation. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna warp back to this side of Grace here, and then we're gonna carry on our way here. So what we're gonna do next is there's an NPC we're gonna talk to right over here. This guy has a little bit of a quest.
You do well to steer clear of Agheel Lake, fledgling. The dragon roosts there, and it's as fearsome as it is majestic. So, unless you're mad or wish to be burned alive, stay clear of the lake. Don't be a fool.
Okay. So the lake that he's talking about is actually this lake. There is a dragon there. We're not going to fight it quite yet. We will fight it, but just not immediately. It is a very challenging fight. So we're going to come back when we're just a little bit stronger. You can actually climb up this, these ruins here. It's not cooperating. There, let's get a running start. I think you're actually supposed to go up the other side. You can go up this side. There you go. It just takes a second to find that right spot. Because the reason why I want to go up on this side is you can see there's a gap right here. You can jump over that gap, but the item is on this side. So if you're having trouble making that jump that I just made, you can climb up on this side and then just jump over. So go down here. I think we're good. But over here, where you see this little campsite, it's going to be a thing we can pick up. Sliver of meat, crafting material. So now what we're going to do is see these ruins right in front of us. That's our next stop. There's going to be some enemies in here we're going to fight. I'm going to be two-handing my weapon for the most part. I might take my... I might do some guard counters and take my shield out. But for now, I'm just going to two-hand my weapon. And there's some goodies in here. As well as some enemies. There's a dog. Whoops, missed my jump attack. There we go. Got a rat in here. And we got another stone sword key. So these are going to help us when we get to these doors that are locked behind the stone sword keys. We haven't done one yet, but they will come. So don't worry about that. These dogs do a lot of damage. Got a rune fragment. There's some lilies around here. Some more enemies. Some butterflies to pick up. You see, with our +3 weapon and doing jump attacks, we're killing most of these enemies in one hit. I really should be doing guard counters against these dogs. I'm just too lazy. Okay, and there is an underground area over here. We're going to head on down. There's some rats in here, so be careful. The rats can pack a punch. They are not risk-free. Got another golden rune. Okay, so we're going to open this up, and you're going to see a treasure chest in front of you. You're going to be like, ooh, yay. This is not treasure. This is a trap. I would suggest not opening this treasure chest. Well, let me show you what happens. I would suggest not even opening it. You can roll back. If you get caught up in that smoke, you're going to get transported. The place you're going to get transported to is way over here on the other side of the map. And it is a very difficult area. most everything is probably going to be able to one-shot you, if not two-shot you. I would not recommend doing it. I'm not going to go there right now. If you are that curious and want to see, you can actually go to my first playthrough live stream. The first episode, within the first hour, I didn't know what I was doing. I opened this chest. I got transported over there, and yeah, it was not a good time. I'm just going to put it that way. So I would not suggest you doing that because you're going to get transported to a cave that you can't warp out of right away. And most everything in there is going to one-shot you, and you're going to have to get out of that cave to be able to warp back to where we are now. So just save you some trouble. I would recommend not doing that. So just a nice little tip for you. So what we're doing now actually is we want to go to the kind of the eastern side of these ruins, and there's going to be something else that we can get. I'm going to get on my horse real quick. So what we're going to do now there's actually a spot that you can only get to by jumping over with your horse, by doing a double jump. I think it's inside of this. Yeah, here we go. So see that wall? You can only get past here by double jumping with your horse. I'm going to take care of this dog. You can only get through here by double jumping with your horse. So it is a little bit tricky. You can also jump over this wall. But you can see we're kind of closed in, and you might be able to make, actually, let me see. Yeah, you can make this jump. Well, no, you can get out by single jumping, but you can only get in by double jumping. So again, double jump with your horse, get in, and we're going to go down here. And here we have a chest that is not a trap. This chest has the Twin Blade. Pretty solid dex weapon. It's kind of like a dual-bladed lightsaber, kind of. If you think about it in Star Wars terms. It requires 18 dex to use, which we don't have. So we're not going to be able to do that. So what we're going to do is the dragon spawns right around here. We're actually going to head over here. And then up through here is where we're going to go next. Get back on our horse. Do most of this on horseback. And right over here, you see this little tomb site. You can jump off your horse and get through here. These guys are just going to spew poison at you, so I'm just kind of spamming R1. Get the item and get out before you get poisoned. Well, I'm going to get poisoned. Oh, yes, I barely made it. If you get poisoned and you don't have anything to cure the poison, what you can do is you can just get out of here, warp back to your site of grace, and cure the poison. And so we got the Arteria Leaf, I think they're called, and those are actually pretty solid crafting items for stuff that we're going to be able to craft later on in the game. There's a couple things you can pick up over here. Just crafting stuff, mostly. So we're going to go this way. Again, the dragon spawns if you go over there. If you follow this kind of river, should be okay. On the ground here, there's going to be some fire grease that we can pick up. So you can coat your sword with the fire grease and give your sword fire damage. Give you a little bit of a damage boost. We're just going to kind of ride past these enemies. We don't really need to deal with them right now. So here's where we're after. This is going to spawn an invasion. This guy is tough. And I mean really, really tough. So the Bloody Finger Neregus, I don't know how to say his name. But anyway, what I would recommend is running straight past him. He can actually throw projectiles at you, though, so be careful. If you get far enough, he's going to despawn. So you see he's returning to his world. So once he returns to his world, you can summon your horse again. The reason we got kicked off our horse before is because when an NPC summons in, you can't ride on horseback. Get this rune tier 1 from the glowing skull. So the reason why we did that just now is because in here there's a cave. We're actually not going to explore this cave yet, but what I wanted to get is this site of grace here. So that way we can recharge our flask usages. because if that NPC is spawned, this cave is going to be blocked off. You're not going to be able to get in here. So having him despawn like that allows us to get in here, unlock this Site of Grace. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back outside of the cave, and he will respawn. This NPC invader is going to respawn. And we do want to fight him. So this way, at least... see, we can't ride our horse now because he's about to spawn in. So this way, at least if we die, we're going to spawn right here instead of all the way back here. So we're going to respawn right next to him if we die. So what I suggest doing is let him come towards you. We're not going to fight him yet. So don't lock onto him. We're going to run right past him. After a certain amount of time, you remember that NPC that we talked on the south edge of the lake that warned us about the dragon? He's actually going to spawn in, and he's going to help us with this guy. This guy is really tough. You can solo him. He is very difficult at this point in the game. You see, look at the damage he does, and look at the bleed damage that he does. So again, if this red bar gets all the way to the top, we're gonna basically experience the blood loss status effect, and we're gonna hemorrhage our life. It's not gonna kill us in one hit unless we're low health already, but it will do a lot of damage. So now that our friend has spawned in, we're gonna fight this guy. 2v1. And so you still have to be careful though. But if he's distracted, you can if he's not aggroed on you, you can sneak up behind him and get a backstab on him. I'm not doing a very good job of right now, but anyway, jump attacks are good as well. Just make sure you're not taking the brunt of his damage. He can also heal as well. So if he gets low enough health and he backs away, he can heal. But you see that our friend here did the vast majority of the damage. And for that, we get the Reduvia, which is a dagger type weapon. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, here's the Reduvia. Requires 13 arcane to use. But as you can see, it has massive bleed damage on it, which can be a huge help. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry on north. As I said, we're going to come back to that cave in just a bit. So since this guy helped you, this NPC is right here now. So we can talk to him to advance his quest.
To have fought Nereus and lived. You must have seen your share of battle. I am Yura, as you might recall. Hunter of bloody fingers, tarnished, held in thrall by Cessblood. Zealots who stalk their own. You stay the path. You are certain to face more of them. Just remember, no kinship with their ilk remains. Their madness precludes it. Don't let your emotions stay your blade. Be on your way. Perhaps we won't.
Okay, so we will meet again. This guy does have a quest line to follow. If you miss his quest line, it's not the end of the world. It's not a major piece of the game. We're still going to be able to get pretty much everything else that we would have gotten anyways without him. So we're going to carry on through this river here. Up here, have some poison bloom. So these skeletons are going to start fighting us. This is a good opportunity to show you how these skeletons work. So these guys go down pretty easy, not too bad. But what you see is that white coming up out of the ground. He's actually going to reanimate if you don't hit him again. You see that white on the ground. When you kill a skeleton enemy, you have to hit them while the white is on the ground. Otherwise, they're going to come back to life, and they will respawn indefinitely unless you hit them again with the white on the ground. Oh man, I'm doing a pretty horrible job while I'm talking. But anyways, that's how you deal with the skeletons. Or if you have a weapon that does holy damage, the skeletons will just die when you deplete their health. You don't have to hit them again. But absent a weapon with holy damage, you are going to have to get an extra hit in when the white is coming up. Otherwise, they will, as I said, they will reanimate, and they're basically just going to come back to life over and over again. These giant blobs on the ground, don't worry about them. They are a pain to kill, and the reward, quite frankly, isn't really worth it. What we're going to do now is all the way back here. There's another catacombs. So let's rest, get our flasks back. Okay, this one's a little bit tricky. So it's hard to see. I'm going to pull my torch out, but there's a guy up on the ceiling and a guy on the wall. So we are going to use our bow, get these guys down, fight them 1v1. Actually, I just might be able to shoot this one to death. And otherwise, if you walk on in here unawares, you're going to get ambushed. And yeah. These guys are small, but they seriously pack a punch. It's pretty crazy. So you'll see this square thing in front of us. That's actually a trap. If you hit it, it's going to fire arrows out of here. The thing about the traps is they hurt you, but they also hurt enemies. And this guy snuck up behind us. And you see some of those arrows actually hit him, so he took the damage from them. So these guys are throwing knives at me. Oh gosh, these guys are so annoying. All right, so see if I can get this guy with the trap. Just make sure if you activate the trap, just make sure you get out of the way so it doesn't hit you. But it, of course, can hit the enemies too, so you can use those to your advantage if you'd like, or just fight them straight up. So just remember when we got to this room, we were facing straight on. There were two of them right in front of us, and then there's that one that came out from next to us. So we got some root resin. In this case, the switch is right in front of us. We actually found the switch before we found the boss door. So heavy door has opened. So there's our door. And that's where the boss is. You can see there's two more gargoyles in front of us and another trap switch right in front of us. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to shoot these guys, lure them over, finish them off. And I think there's actually a third one in this room as well. So I'm going to get these two out of the way. And they're not heavy enough to trigger the trap switch. So they walked right over it and didn't hit the trap, but that's okay. Yep. As I said, there's a third one. My shield back on. Got some more ghost gloveworts in here. Later on, we're going to be able to level up our spirit summons with that. Let's see here. So this is the boss. This is actually somewhat of a challenging boss. You would think he just can hit you from up close, but he actually does have range as well. His hammers are attached to these chains. I'm going to two-hand my weapon here. He is a little bit slow, so that's kind of your advantage. When he hits his hammers into the ground, that's kind of your opening. So you see he can swing his hammers on the chains. And when he does his slam, that's your opportunity to jump attack. You can have your shield out as well and block his physical damage. You see, I'm not taking the hits. And I almost took his entire combo. When he slams his hammers from the ground, that's your opportunity to jump attack. You can, of course, summon your spirit wolves in here as well. I'm just trying to show you his moveset in case you decide that you want to fight him more hand-to-hand. You can see his combos are long. So I'm just trying to bait kind of his slam attack. Up. Got hit there. So you can have your shield up. And as I said, with your shield up, you're going to be able to block the damage there since we finally have a 100% physical damage shield. So let's see what he does here. Oh, he just powered himself up. And he's got lots of poise. So even my jump heavy attacks aren't stunning him for the most part. If he's in the middle of a combo, he's basically just going to power straight through your attack. And oh, geez. That was close. All right, so just to make sure I can finish this guy off, I'm done showing you his moves. You can see he's mad. So when he's in the middle of a combo, I'm going to summon my wolves. Distract him a bit. Up. All right, come on, do your thing, guys. There you go. There we go, got a stun, and finished him off. Okay. So you notice we're getting a lot of experience, a lot of runes. I'm not going to level up right now because there's a merchant that we're going to get to that has some stuff that we want that is fairly expensive. So I'm going to let this accrue up. It is a little bit risky. Not going to lie, it's a little bit risky, but we're not going to be going too far away from a site of grace. So even if we were to lose everything, we'll respawn kind of right next to where our stuff is. So, you know, there is chance that we could die Actually, before I move forward, I'm gonna rest at the site of grace to get my stuff back. I'm not gonna level up, but I am gonna rest. Get my flasks back. And so we're just gonna pick up a couple items, and then we're gonna go back to that cave. And there's gonna be a merchant that we get to that has some stuff for sale that's pretty expensive that I want to pick up. As I said, this game gives you plenty of runes. You don't really need to farm. But if you want to farm, you certainly can. So where we're headed now is, there's kind of like a bridge right here we're going to go across. And there is a scarab over here. It drops a smithing stone, somber smithing stone, I should say, tier 1. So this one, you see how it has like kind of embers flowing from it? That means when you kill it, it's going to blow up. So as soon as you deplete it, deplete its HP. Make sure you back away so you don't get caught in that explosion. Okay. So what we're going to do now is go across this bridge. You see right here, you can drop down and go on horseback. Drop over here. Right over here is another site of grace. So make sure you unlock this just in case if you die in this area and have all these runes at risk. You're going to respawn right here and be right next to your stuff. Let's see. So what we're going to do now is there's some golden runes right here. There's an encampment over here that we're going to get some stuff. And then there's a... up here, there's going to be a smithing stone. So that's kind of what we're after. So around here, there's going to be a lot of wolves, as you can see. You can get some of these afar, maybe with your arrows, or you can fight them one-on-one as well. Really, with these wolves, a good way to approach them is to bait their attack. And then do a counter attack. Or if they get close to you, you can just hit them. Or you can just let them hit you and take a bunch of damage, like I'm doing. There we go. Guard counter. This rune here. Bunch of loot. And since you know these guys are here, you can actually here we go, got a gold rune +2. You can approach this area, and if you have a bow, you can or long range magic, you can kind of get some of these guys from afar before you get into the thick of it. All right, so we got our rune. It's late in the day, so probably should have rested at that site of grace and advanced the time, but oh well. There's not a nighttime boss around here anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So this guy, I'm going to lure him over with my bow because there's actually 3 or 4 of them in here. They're going to come after you. So I might as well get this one out of the way before things get too dicey. There's another one over right over there, surrounded by 2 dogs. I'm going to get the dogs first. And we killed his dog, but he still doesn't really notice us. This other dog's over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crouch, get a backstab on him. Make sure you switch back to your sword from your bow. You can't get backstabs with the bow. Doesn't work that way. Charge heavy as he gets up and whiff, because it's always good to whiff. Still killed him anyway. There's going to be another one that kind of comes in here. That might come in here, I should say. So what we came over here for is the Armorer's Cookbook Tier 1. Which is really solid. I'm going to hide behind here while we look at it. See, that one came in on horseback. Look at our inventory. Armorer's Cookbook Tier 1 lets us craft fire grease. So that is a very solid crafting that we can do. So we have root resins and the smoldering butterflies. You notice I'm picking up those smoldering butterflies everywhere we go, and I showed you by the War Master's shack where you can get root resin. So we're going to make a few of these just because I might use them on some bosses later. So that guy riding around the horse, we don't really need to worry about that much. Really, all we need to do is go up here. As I said, we do have a lot of runes at risk. So engaging in combat, probably not the best idea unless you absolutely have to. We'll get this rune from the glowing skull. See, there's a giant up there. So there is a horse jump over there that you could go up. Really, all that does is it takes us up to where, remember where we fought those, where we didn't fight them, but we saw the giants. And they broke open that statue for us that had a bunch of runes in there. That's where that'll take you back to. So we've already been in that area. We don't need to go back there. I'm trying to see if I can get these owls. Or they're not owls, they're more like eagles. Didn't get a drop. So once the encounter, once the game kind of recognizes I'm not in an encounter anymore, I'm actually going to warp. Drop on down here. Hopefully the game will... See, that noise that I'm making is me trying to access my map when the game won't let me because the game thinks I'm in the middle of an encounter. You just got to run away, wait a sec, and eventually... So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to that cave that we accessed earlier but did not go inside. And this is a dark cave, so pull out a torch. Got some cave moss. It's actually pretty short as well, so not going to take us too long. So there's a couple enemies in here. See those little bells? If you hit those bells, it's going to alert all the enemies to your presence all at once. So I recommend staying away from them if possible. If not, it's not the end of the world. These guys aren't that difficult to kill. So I'm going to go down here. More enemies come out at us. That's okay. And we just got poisoned. Oh man, that's a big time bummer. So because we got poisoned, I'm gonna go back to the start and refresh the area as soon as we get what's inside this treasure chest. And watch out for those red barrels. If you hit those with your torch, those will explode. They have gunpowder inside of them. So make sure you don't hit them with your torch right close to them because they will blow up. And yeah. Well, this poison is actually decreasing fairly quickly, so I should be all right. I'm just going to heal up. Well, we're about to fight a mini boss, so I do want all of my healing. I want access to all of my healing, so. Thing is once you go into the boss area, these enemies will respawn, but once you go into the boss area, they will not be able to traverse the fog, so you'll be all right, even if they're chasing after you. Okay. So now instead of going straight, we're going to take an immediate right. I'm just going to run past these guys. There will be a boss fog. So, come in here. No boss. What's the deal? There is a treasure chest. I'm going to switch to my shield. And if you loot the treasure chest... Someone mad about it. And we have Patches. So for those of you who are familiar with Dark Souls, you know all about Patches. He's a boss in this game. But we're actually not going to kill him. He turns into a merchant. So once he gets a little bit below half health, he is going to he's going to beg for his life and turn into a merchant. He's really tough. Do not underestimate Patches. You cannot summon for this fight, but you notice he's like spitting this acid at us. That's actually really easy to punish. And once he spits it out, you can circle around and get a backstab. He hides behind his great shield and he pokes at you with his spear. So it is very difficult to deal with some of his attacks and get hits in. If he rolls away like that, you can get a couple hits in, but you want to stay away from his spear attacks. He can also parry you. So there we go. I'm going to try for a backstab there. I missed it. That's okay. He can also parry you, so be careful about that, because if he parries you and gets a riposte, it's basically going to be a one-shot. So you either have to wait for this acid attack or wait till he tries to attack you. And then that's going to be your opening. I'm going to see if I can get a backstab with that acid that he spits out. Hold on. Let me see if I can get a backstab. You just run over to him. There we go. So now he did enough damage to him. He's begging for his life. So don't hit him again. Don't kill him. I'd recommend not killing him. You can kill him. If you kill him, you'll still have access to all of his items. But he also has a side quest. I recommend not killing him as horrible of a person as he is. Got a gesture for our trouble as well. So we can talk to him.
Well, what do you know? You're tarnished like me. Now, how did I get that wrong? I took you for a demi-human or some such. Well, an innocent mistake, I assure you. Well, water under the bridge. Now we're squared up. How about we play nice from now on?
Forgive and forget.
True man of reason. Just what I like about you. I'm Patches. Patches the untethered. Tarnished like you, only free-spirited. Nomadic, you might say. Only for now, those retired soldiers turned bandits. They're paying for my gruel. In exchange for my, well, showing them the ropes. But honestly, this looting racket is bloody terrifying. Frankly, I'm ready to wash my hands clean. Maybe set up a legitimate shop. So don't be a stranger. I'll be ready to wheel and deal come next time.
All right.
Don't forget, I'll be ready.
So he says, you come back and visit him. So what you can do is you can actually warp back to the beginning of the entrance to the cave, and then go back to where he was, and he'll be a merchant. And so that's why I've been saving our runes this whole time, because he has some stuff that is really expensive, but super useful. And again, if on your way doing this, if you lost your runes by some unfortunate event, you can easily go back to that starting area over here. And if you need to farm some stuff, farm some runes to get what we're going to get here, you can certainly do that. Or you can actually just, you can leave a marker here, say, hey, I need to come back here and get some treasure. I am going to go ahead and just get whatever I can get. Don't open that chest yet, by the way. That's another trap, but we're actually going to go through that one. But we want to make sure we get his stuff first before we go through there.
You won't need a refund.
Okay.
Yeah, I had those bandits make a clean. Now they're all suppliers. I mean, they don't understand a word, but it hardly matters. They're all foot soldiers. Survived, worked to the bone by their high and mighty lord. It's the same old story every...
Okay.
Well, it's just something I'm saving as thanks. But then again, it would. And besides, this valuable, huh? Everything is give and take.
Okay. Just wanted to show you his dialogue. So here we have the Margit's Shackle. I would highly, 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 highly recommend buying this item. It's going to help us with the first main boss of the game. And as I said, lots of stuff for sale here. He also has a stone sword key that I want to pick up, and this cookbook. If you don't want this cookbook, if you don't care about these recipes, you don't have to buy it. I'm just going to buy, as we come across these merchants, I'm going to buy most of the stuff that they have, just because. So I actually need to pop some runes here. So we have Margit's Shackle in our inventory. So a fetish bathed in golden magic. Shackles were used to bind the accursed people called the Omen, and these ones were made to keep particular Omen under strictest confinement. So this will actually help us in the first main boss fight of the game, and so I do suggest picking it up because I'm going to use it in that fight. Let's see here. So let us pop some runes here. So we got this tier 5 rune that we got from the kind of graveyard area. I think I'm going to pop all of these, really. That barely gives us enough to get the stone sword key.
Cheers for that.
So we're still going to have to come back later to get that other... Actually, how much do these guys out here give us? Probably not enough. We'll get enough in just a little bit if these guys don't. Yeah. Nope, not enough. Throw my torch on because it's dark in here. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up that chest. And much like the one that I told you not to open before, this is actually a trap. It's going to take us somewhere else.
Well, well, well. I should have known, you scheming little thief. The gods demand vengeance. Vengeance!
Okay, so this is actually going to warp us over to East Limgrave. And it is nighttime right now. Not the best. So you can see we're just east of where we were before. The game's not letting us warp right now either. But right here, we're right next to the map fragment. Don't poke the bear. These bears are massive. They are extremely, extremely powerful. Do not engage in combat with them. So just kind of sneak around. There's another one over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the long way around. And we're going to get this map fragment. So unlock this section of the map. So now we can see what's around here. What we're going to do is we're basically going to head right around here. There's a site of grace. And that's what we're going to be concerned with primarily at this point. So now that we're on horseback, we can actually ride right past this bear. Try to pick up these things in the lake. There's some good stuff. There's a golden rune tier 5. That's the main thing we wanted, and some throwing daggers. If you're quick enough, you should be able to get the items on horseback and then get away before the bear starts attacking you, because those bears, as I said, are extremely, extremely, extremely powerful. So now we have this site of grace here. And now I also believe, let's see, I'm gonna pass the time until morning. Now we can warp. So I'm actually gonna go back to Patches. And I can pop that rune item that we just got and buy that cookbook that I wanted. And these guys will chase you, but they won't follow you in here. Okay. Actually, I need to...
Maybe it's a sign to keep your mitts off what's not rightly yours, hmm? But I'll forgive you. View it as a learning experience. At any rate, it's just nice to see you safe. Don't miss all the bargains here at Patches in...
Okay, so the thing about rune items is you can use them, but you can also sell them. So they sell for pretty much the same amount that they give you. And I'm gonna test this because I'm pretty sure that's correct, but I want to make sure. So you can sell this for 1,600 runes. If you consume it, you also get 1,600. So you can sell these at merchants for the value that you get for consuming it.
Forgot something. No.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase this cookbook. You don't need it if you don't want it, but I want to get it. So again, what I got from Patches, I got this Margit Shackle. This is priority 1. This is going to help us with the next boss, or the first, I should say the first main boss of the game. I also got the Stone Sword Key, and I got the cookbook. So these two are semi-optional. I would recommend at least getting the Stone Sword Key later if you can come back for it. And so, yeah. So this is where I'm going to cut this episode right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to do some really good and important stuff in the next episode where I think should be able to obtain the weapon that I'm going to use for the bulk of the playthrough. So yeah, we're going to have ourselves some good fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this guide has helped you. I hope you're, most of all, really just enjoying this game, this masterpiece of a game. I hope you're having a blast with it. I'm having a really good time making this walkthrough. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.